In today's episode, we go camping at Devolt 4x4 near Brits. We inflate mattresses in the dark. We get to test our new torches. We spot a giraffe. We twist and flex some axles. We touch a very hot toilet seat.
That thing is hotter than my Braai grill.
We get to admire some spectacular views. We come across a 4x4 obstacle designed to rip your heart out, and it does. I get to host a comedy show about me.
Hoe kan het nog drive? We have that on camera.
I get spoiled.
Ja. En is mos jong. Jong van hart.
We boil a kettle. And we get to poo behind curtains. We admire a very, very sexy Hilux. And, of course, we braai. Our journey today is a short one and begins in Fourways, Johannesburg, where we meet our best friends, Tunas and Kierie, in their well-kitted Hilux GR Sports, as we point our noses north to Devolt 4x4. Devolt 4x4 Game Park is one of Gauteng's most iconic off-road playgrounds, located just past Hadida on the northwest side of Johannesburg and just south of Brits. From Fourways, it's roughly an hour's drive, depending on traffic of course. It's been around 4 decades and is known as a training ground for both beginners and experienced 4x4 drivers, with everything from technical rock crawls to axle twisting articulation sections.
Hello boys. Hello. Looking forward to camping? Yeah.
But it's not just about obstacles, it's also a game park, which means wildlife, bushveld camping, and the kind of scenery that makes you forget that you're only an hour away from home. Close enough for a weekend, serious enough to have some four-wheel drive fun. Pro tip, there's the Bolt 4x4 and there's the Bolt Adventures. True to form, we first ended up at the wrong one. Once we arrived at the correct Devolt, which by the way is the name of the area, we were greeted by friendly staff and was quickly shown to our campsite. We were booked into the Hadida camp, but there are also Kingfisher, Fish Eagle and Hornbill camps, as well as Tent Town, some cabins and a fishing spot. The campsites are all bushveld style sites, slightly different in layout and feel, but generally offering a mix of green camping space, ablutions and that classic weekend not too far from Joburg atmosphere. Hadida camp is a wide open area, proper bush camp feel, a mix between traditional camping and tented camps, should you prefer not to pitch your own. There's space to breathe, at the expense of privacy one might argue, and space for the kids to run with a farm dam style swimming pool, which the kids absolutely loved. Our first attempt at setting up camp looked great, until we realized it was basically in full sun. So we made the executive decision to move. We found a corner site close to the ablutions, not too close though. It had plenty of space for both vehicles, the trailer and an 8-man tent, for the kids of course. And most importantly, it had a solid braai setup, with much better protection thanks to some larger trees. So lesson number 1, shade is not optional. It took longer than it probably should have, but eventually we were set up. Except the kids' mattresses of course. What's more bonding than fighting with air valves in the dark? But then, before we even realized it, all tents were pitched, chairs were out, fridges were open, and the trailer was unpacked.
And
Hello.
what you doing?
Getting meat off the freezer.
Getting meat out the freezer?
That's what we're going to do, right?
Lekker.
We lit the fire and officially shifted into relaxation mode. Because at the end of the day, no matter how chaotic the setup, the goal is simple. We must braai. With the fire burning in the background, we decided this was the perfect time to test some torches. Because nothing says camping quite like unnecessary powerful lightning. First up was the Zartec ZA816 LED flashlight, USB rechargeable 6000 lumens. A cool feature when you push the head forward, it's suddenly not a torch anymore, it's a wildlife surveillance. You could probably count eyelashes on a giraffe. That's very far away. Next up, we took the big gun, the ZA818, 12,000 lumens, which is roughly the brightness of the sun. We compared beam distance, spread, and basically there wasn't much of a difference, or was there? The ZA818 has a digital display that shows battery life. It's more bulky and heavier than the 816, but it has an extreme bright button. When you push this, it melts the darkness and changes everything in its path to daylight. And then I was properly spoiled. I received the latest Tracks for Africa Atlas of Southern Africa. This isn't just a map book, it's basically the Overlanders Bible. The plan? Every country we visit, every campsite we stay at, we mark it with an Instax photo. South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, wherever, one page at a time. This is how clueless overlanders become slightly less clueless.
Yo, this is nice. So well done, eh?
Yeah. We spent some time planning our October Botswana trip to Chobe, and in particular our end goal and a bucket list destination, Linyati Camp. With all the distractions, the torch testing, the atlas reveal, and general campsite chaos, we eventually braaied at around 10 p.m. Because nothing says organized campers like eating 2 hours later than planned.
It's like a disco stick. Like a disco vibe.
You can move to the rave again.
Yeah, like a
It will go well at the rave.
90s rave vibe.
We eventually crawled into bed around midnight with slightly annoying, yet somehow soothing 80s music drifting across the campsite from a nearby local pub. We woke up around 7 and were very surprised to discover that the kids had already gone swimming voluntarily before breakfast, before we'd even had coffee. We didn't know whether to be impressed or concerned. Naturally, this meant one thing: coffee.
Good morning. No sukkels coffee.
Strong, necessary, restorative. Breakfast, however, was not subtle. Full tilt, campsite scrambles, bacon, sausages. The kind of breakfast that says, we're about to justify this. And then, it was time for some low range. You settle the bill at the gate. It's about $1,000 for 6 people. Then you cross a small bridge, and just like that, the playground appears. The track starts off fairly subtle, clearly marked routes for 4x4 and even 4x2 vehicles. And then there's the red route, following what looks like an old riverbed, marked advanced 4x4 only. Very tempting, but with the upcoming trips to Lebombo and Botswana, we decided to limit the risk of vehicle damage, so we stuck to the 4x4 route, challenging on its own, adventurous, but not financially reckless. Our cruiser has evolved into a properly kitted overlanding vehicle, roof rack with tent, water, gas, a 270 awning, drawers in the back, and a fridge big enough to host a small wedding, which is fantastic for long distance travel and overlanding, but it changes the game on technical trails. When you load it like this, I generally recommend that staying away from the extreme obstacles. Even though these vehicles are incredibly capable, the risk of damage increases dramatically. Level 5 and above rated obstacles, the real hardcore stuff, are far better suited to lighter, unkitted 4x4 builds. And then the trail paused for something far more important: giraffes. Just standing there, completely unbothered by our tire pressures and our line choices. For my son's friend, it was the first time seeing giraffes live and up close. And that moment right there is worth more than any obstacle.
Bobbejaan se Kierie.
We then reached what everybody is talking about, the axle twister of note, Bobbejaan se Kierie, an uphill axle twister with deep ruts and a steep incline. I find before attempting an obstacle like this, it's always a good idea to walk the track first. Especially if it's your first time here. From the driver's seat, everything looks flatter and far less dramatic. But once you're standing in the ruts, you can actually see the depth, the angles, the brake over points. You can choose your line properly, where your tires go and where they should land, where your diffs might scrape and where your rock sliders regret life decisions. A 2-minute walk can save you a very expensive noise in the future, a noise that may not start sounding today. It's when you're 1,000 kilometers into your Botswana trip that you'll pay for your sins. This obstacle is all about articulation. As one wheel drops into a rut, the opposite wheel lifts, and suddenly traction becomes a negotiation. The big V8 cruiser, fully kitted for overlanding, you can feel the weight shift as the chassis twists through the ruts. Slow throttle, let the torque do the work. Keep as many tires touching the ground as possible. And then there's Junas's GR Sports Hilux, lighter, more nimble, a properly capable 4x4. With less weight, up high, it moves through the ruts differently, quicker to respond, slightly less body roll. Both vehicles are incredibly competent 4x4s. What else do you expect from a Toyota? But you can see how setup changes the feel of an obstacle. But with less lift than the cruiser, also more likely to take damage on the rock sliders. This is where suspension travel, traction control, and smooth torque delivery matter more than horsepower. And where both Toyotas just keep climbing. The track loops, which means you don't just climb Bobbejaan se Kierie once, you do it again, but downhill. And somehow, downhill feels worse. The toppling effect is far more noticeable. As the front wheels drop into the ruts, the nose dips, the rear goes light, and you really feel the vehicle's weight shifting forward. Gravity suddenly becomes very involved in your decision making. When you are loaded for overlanding, that forward weight transfer is amplified. The center of gravity moves, the body leans, and every off-camber moment feels exaggerated. This is where low range and engine braking are your best friends. Slow, controlled, no sudden braking. Let the vehicle walk itself down, because going down can feel a lot more unstable than going up.
Get out of the way, babes. I want to take a video. Here we go. Good job.
Now, I'm not mechanically inclined, but I really love my Land Cruiser, and I wouldn't exchange her for anything in the world. It's at angles like this where you can see all the fancy words like limited, slip differential and active traction control really starts working. This Toyota system that breaks the spinning wheel and forces torque to the wheels with traction is absolutely amazing.
Medical emergency. Okay, buddy. Okay, they don't make them like they used to, eh?
From there, the track keeps you busy. Rocky climbs, off-camber sections, deep ruts that test your line choice, axle articulation humps, loose and slippery gravel that forces you to stay smooth on the throttle. Nothing outrageous, but technical enough to keep you honest. It's the kind of terrain that rewards patience more than bravado.
As jy op daai punt wat ek was, kan dit in jou doen. En net reguit vorentoe ry en you should have a nice clear straight downfall. Net reg. Daar. Dan jy gaan nou daai dip toe aan jou regterwiel. En go, straight, keep it straight. Hier links gaan is wat ek van my giraffe klein bietjie. Net reguit.
Then, the obstacles disappeared and we reached the viewpoint. And suddenly, the ruts, rocks, and tire pressure faded away. Wide open bushveld, rolling hills, proper northwest scenery, the kind of view that makes you forget that you're only an hour from Fourways. There's also a rock pile at the top, a little pyramid built by everyone who's made it up here. So naturally, we added ours. Proof that we were here and that the cruiser survived long enough to see this. There was more articulation and axle twisting obstacles that we did as the day progressed.
Just keep it nice and slow.
Ja, bietjie links. Ja, net so. Net so. So bietjie regs, maak reguit jou stuur op. Jy gaan afgly aan die ander kant, daar sê. Hou die lyn. Draai bietjie links. Okay, maak weer reguit. Jy gaan nou opgaan aan jou regterkant. Draai links, skerp links. Okay, dan gaan jy optel. Gaan, hou stadig. Okay, maak reguit. Stop. Reguit, daar kom.
And sometimes being the spotter can be just as rewarding as being the driver when you choose a good line.
Ja, op die punt wat ek was, die kind of when you're in the view, maar net reguit voor in die ry en jy sien dat in daai clear straight downfall.
Tunas is an absolute amazing spotter and he chooses such good lines that it really does make the drive so much easier and so much less risky. But then we reached Gert's Klip, an extreme climb with a proper rock face. Steep, exposed, no margin for sloppy throttle. This isn't just a rut, this is a commitment. And while both vehicles are fully capable, with upcoming trips and a Jimny instructor putting the fear of God into us that we will be buying new tires, we made a sensible call to skip Gert's Klip for now.
Okay, walk.
You said walk, not fall.
Whoa.
4x4, Ethan, 4x4.
Put yourself in 4x4, buddy.
Whoa.
Okay, we can say we did Gert rock.
Next, we discovered something totally unexpected. A bush toilet with fresh drinking water. Standing proudly alone in the middle of nowhere and in the direct sunlight. Naturally, I called the kids over because this felt like a teachable moment. The toilet seat was piping hot, not warm, not uncomfortable, surface of the sun hot. It was squat or third-degree burn wounds. We collectively decided we can hold it. And what better way to cool Elsie down on a piping hot summer's day than driving through a big puddle of mud? But was it worth it?
It's not so bad. Okay.
You guessed it. The mud had a smell of 1,000 rotten drains, and Ethan was standing outside the car, almost hurling his lungs out. By this stage, the kids were getting tired, or at least that was our excuse. So we pointed the convoy towards the Lapa. Cold ones for us, cold drinks and ice cream for the kids. Everyone wins. We got what we came for. Good driving, great views and a few laughs, and no broken parts. That's the bonus. Back at the camp, the kids were swimming and I decided that this is a good time to show you the ablutions facilities. There's a, nice place to do your dishes with hot water. Plenty of large dustbins scattered all around the campsite, which is always a good sign. Now for a bush camp, it's probably okay. It's definitely better than some filling stations in Bobbejaan, but it's not quite sand park standards. Inside you'll find plastic curtains in front of the toilets and plastic curtains in front of the showers. Functional, but let's just say not architectural excellence. There's one urinal with no privacy, positioned right next to a shower. So technically it could be a team building exercise. And there's a basin. Yes, the basin. One. At a campsite that can easily host 20 to 30 men on a busy weekend. The basin is perfect if nobody else is there. Did I survive the ablution? Yes. Would I redesign it? Absolutely. That evening, we did what Overlanders do best. We made a proper fire. Not a small, sensible one, a proper one. The kind that pulls everyone closer. The second braai of the trip. And just like that, the dust settles, the engines cool, and the stories get slightly more exaggerated. The next morning, we packed up camp. The cruiser swallowed the gear, the fire pit cooled, and Hadida slowly returned to silence. And just like that, the weekend was over. We aired tires back up, pointed the convoy towards Johannesburg, and headed home. Devolt 4x4 is in Namibia or Botswana, but then again we didn't expect it to be. It's not some remote expedition deep into Africa. It's about an hour from Fourways, and yet it gives you everything you need. Technical climbs, axle twisters, wildlife, bushveld sunsets, lessons in restraint. We did tackle the extreme lines. We didn't conquer Gert's Klip, but we didn't need to, because overlanding isn't about proving something. It's about building confidence, making memories, and driving home under your own power. Devolt gave us exactly what we came for, and just enough to make us want more. Lebombo Eco Trail, you're next. If you want to see more of our content, please consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you for watching.
Cool, got us with some drive. We have that on camera.